What's up guys, what's up YouTube? Matt Samolski here. I'm Matt the Car Guy. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Thank you for watching this video. On this channel I do car reviews, so if this is your first time, check it out, see if you like it. If there is anything you like, consider subscribing to this channel. Today I have this beautiful 2021 Kia Seltos SX Turbo, and I'm really excited about it because I reviewed a few of the Kia products in the past and I was really impressed. So hopefully that's going to be the case with this. But what we're going to do today, I'm going to take you on the tour of this vehicle. We're going to check out the exterior, interior, see what hides underneath the hood, also check out the roominess in the back seat as well, and check out all the cool features inside of this vehicle. And finally, my favorite part, we're going to take it for a spin. So if you're ready, let's go. So Seltos competes in the subcompact SUV segment, just like, you know, let's say a Honda HR-V, Toyota CHR, Hyundai Kona, a recently reviewed Ford Bronco Sport. So this is the small, very small SUV, and it came out about 8-9 months ago, but two reasons I haven't reviewed it sooner. First, I didn't have my channel then, and that's probably a good excuse. And secondly, I couldn't get my hands on one because most of the time, by the time I got to the dealerships, the one that I wanted is usually sold. This is the SX Turbo model. So this is the highest end model. There's going to be some differences between this and the lowest trims, and I'm going to try to point them out as I'm talking to you about it. But this is also dressed in one of my favorite colors, is the ocean blue color, and it's got that light gray interior which looks beautiful on this particular car. So let's start right up front here. So the hood is nice, it's sculpted, it's got a few indentations on both sides, it's got this big pronounced Kia logo. It doesn't have a spelled out Seltos or anything like this, but it does have this kind of a two-tier grille. The exterior of that grille is this polished aluminum color with a very nicely textured trim around here, and also it houses those LED lights. Now the full LED lights are available on the SX Turbo, on this model. Some of the lower trim levels are not available with the LEDs. They have the halogen lights, which are still good, but they're not LEDs. It does have what looks like that tiger nose grille, but it's not exactly the same as you've seen on the Telluride, or if you've seen on the K5, or if you've seen on the Sorento that I've reviewed, but it still looks pretty darn good. But what's also interesting, it does have those two LED stripes that go on the inside of the grille and kind of continue into the light. I'll give you a close-up of it in just a little bit. Too bad I can't turn them on, but you can't see them because with the full sun it's going to be kind of hard to do. But what's also here on the bumper, you do have in the lower portion right here, you do have a really nice LED fog lights and this kind of fake skid plate. This is not the real skid plate, but it looks like one, and it actually adds to the design of this vehicle. And at the bottom of it, I mean, this is all open, so that allows a lot of air getting into the engine and helping with cooling off the engine, of course. And that's the front of it. Let's move to the side. All right, guys, so let's take a look at the side profile of this vehicle. It's not the square profile as I've seen on some of the other models that I've reviewed, but I mean, this one is the more aerodynamic. It's more stylish, if you will. And what's interesting, that this is a little bit bigger than most of its competition, than like the Honda HR-V or the Toyota CHR. So but it still competes in that subcompact segment. Anyways, let's take a look at the side. So we've seen the lights from the front and nicely wrap around into this fender. It does have the reflector light, and it has this two-tone design. Basically, you have that cladding, which is a kind of dark, very dark gray that goes all the way at the bottom, and this is kind of where it splits up. It's not that shiny trim, but it does have this dark trim. This is the regular color of the vehicle, then it gets the dark trim again, so it kind of breaks it off a little bit. Now, the mirror caps are the color of the vehicle, and they do have the turn signals in them. You have this big pronounced all-wheel drive badging right on the side. I'm not sure if I'm too crazy about it, but hey, you know what? They wanted to make sure that people know that this is an all-wheel drive car. What's pretty cool about these wheels, now the design of them, these are 18-inch wheels. The design of them it's cool in itself, but what I want to point out, and I'm going to give you a close-up of it as well, is the center cap, and it's really nice and red, kind of breaks apart that wheel, and the wheel is two-tone as it is, so it does have polished aluminum and this gunmetal gray, and now this red in the middle. It really looks pretty darn cool. Now the Seltos, I mean, the smallest Kia before, when they first started with the SUVs, was Sportage, and I believe that this is bigger. I would have to find out the actual numbers and compare, but I think this is bigger than the original Sportage. So moving back here, you do have pretty nice sized windows here, and then you do have this quarter window in the back, and that trim that goes all the way from the front kind of finishes off at the back gate. Now they don't continue with that polished aluminum. This is that shiny black on the side of this. Now also the SXs are available in the two-tone design, and I think that this would carry the two-tone design pretty well. Now they didn't have a two-tone at the time of filming, but I just want to make sure that you know they're available in the two-tone, which means a different color roof on that Kia. And then going into the very back, I mean, you can see the lights start in here, and those are fully LED lights. We're going to talk about them more in the back of this vehicle. Okay, so let's check out what's going on in the back of this car now, and there's a lot going on in the back, but let's start with the lights as we talked about them when we talked on the side. The nice fully LED lights continues in the back gate of this vehicle, and they kind of have this polished aluminum trim right in the middle of it. It connects both of the lights. It has this big Kia logo on it, and it also houses the reverse light in them. Now over here you have this tailgate spoiler, which houses the LED brake light. Now the Sorento, which I really like, that have this wiper at the top of this vehicle. This one has it in the regular space, not a huge deal, but it is here. Seltos on this side, SX TGDI type of the engine, and that's the model of the trim level of the vehicle. Now we also have some of the reflector lights at the bottom here, and then this is really where like 3 different colors come in play. Now this is the same as that trim at the bottom and the cladding around the wheels. This is the same color as the polished aluminum trim right here, and then we have a little bit of that black trim, and then this is kind of a little different texture as well as the different color, and it's the same as the skid plate that they have up front. Now also here you have the fake exhausts. Like, this is more of a design element, but that doesn't even fit here. The exhaust is right here at the bottom. Yeah, well, if they didn't have it, I wouldn't cry about it, but it's here. It looks cool, so depends on what you like. If you like stuff like this, this is great. Let's check out how much room there is inside. Now, the only way to open this gate is manually. So they don't have the automatic gate, which is not a big deal because the gate is not heavy at all, and it opens up nice and high. So I'm 6 feet tall, I still have enough room above my head, and the roominess here, so let's check it out, because what I did is I folded the seats, which were pretty easy to do. It's got one lever on top of the seat, you just pull it and then you fold it. But also what I did is I dropped the floor. Well, Matt, what do you mean drop the floor? Well, here it is. You can actually take this, the bottom of the floor, we're going to remove this all-season mat, but see right here, it sits right on top of the tire. Normally, that's the normal way that it would sit, is right here. And then we can drop it, and it gives you another few inches of the cargo room. This is pretty cool design to maximize that cargo room. And there is over 60 cubic feet of room when the seats are folded, and like over 20 when the seats are up. So not a bad for a subcompact. Let's check out how much room there is in the second row seat in the Seltos. I'm 6 feet tall. Let's see if I can comfortably fit inside this vehicle. And I'm pleased to report you that yes, I can. I mean, there's quite a bit of room for what it is. I mean, obviously it's not a limo, I can't stretch my legs, but for a subcompact SUV, this is pretty darn big. All right, let's check out the interior of it. Let's start with the door. So now we have a few different elements on the door. We have this shiny piano black, not my favorite, but there's a trim right here, polished aluminum door handle, polished aluminum door handle, and polished aluminum trim right here. Of course, it's not real polished aluminum, it's just the color of it. And now this is a two-tone design. This is all kind of the hard plastic, but I guess that's what you should expect in this price category of a subcompact SUV. So there's no leather wrapping or anything like this. Now, it does have the light gray interior. Not sure if it's leather or leatherette, but it looks pretty solid. It looks pretty good on this car, especially contrasting with, like in this case, with the black backs for the seats. In the middle here, all you have is a little USB port, little storage compartment, and the vents for AC. Also, the driver's side seat is not equipped with the map pocket or with the pocket itself, but the passenger one is. And this is the setup in the back. All right, so let's check out, let's start with the door, and let's see, does this open the door? No, but I do have a key in my pocket, so I can press this button, and now I can unlock the door. Let's see how it closes first. Let's hear the sound. Sound is okay, and let's open up. Let's check out what do we have on the side of the door. Kind of the same setup as in the back. You have a little bit of a polished aluminum trim, door handle. Now this speaker's got kind of this funky design, looks like rocks almost, and it's made by Bose. So the stereo is made by Bose. I believe it's got pretty darn good stereo in this little car right here. Now we have, of course, the door lock, unlock, as well as the window controls and mirror controls in here, and the same two-tone configuration on the door right here. As far as the seat, the driver side door has got the electric control of the seats. The passenger does not, and you have to adjust it manually. Let's see where the magic happens. All right, 2021 Kia Seltos interior. Let's check it out. So the steering wheel multifunction. That's just the same steering wheel we've seen on other Kias already. And let's see what's on the steering wheel buttons. Now on the left hand side you see the mode, which you basically can customize that button, and then you can see what it selects in the main screen. I'll show you that in just a little bit. Phone pickup, phone hang up, mute button, voice control, and the volume control. This is a mute button. If you press it, it will mute the stereo, which is always a very needed button on the steering wheel, especially when you don't have your Bluetooth headset on. Anyways, on the left hand side you have your pages that controls what's going on in the middle of the instrument cluster, cruise control, and then you can select the cruise control distance, but for the adaptive cruise control, to select the distance between you and the car in front of you. Let's see what happens when you press the magic button. There you go. So what do you see is nicely laid out instrument cluster. Pretty decent size, big tachometer on the left hand side, speedometer on the right hand side. You can also see the temperature gauges at the bottom of the tach and the fuel gauge at the bottom of the speedometer. Now on the left hand side you see the gear selector, so you can see which gear you're in. That's nicely kind of wrapped around that tachometer, and that middle screen is what you can control using those pages button right here. So let's see, what do we have here? Now you can do different drive modes, right? So you can select different drive modes. Drive info, accumulated info, fuel economy. By the way, 2530 fuel economy on this one, not bad. Transmission temperature. Okay, and then we can do the econ on normal, drive mode, or dynamic. Normal, econ, or dynamic. Let's see, sport mode, normal, smart, sport, normal, smart. 3 different drive modes, that's in here. Now we have the lights on. You can set them on in auto. It will turn them off. And actually pretty cool because it shows you what's going on in the middle here when I'm actually flipping the light switches on and off. And that's it. That's for the instrument cluster. You do have also your lane keep assist in there, as you can see. And it, I believe it will indicate if you're actually getting out of line. Pun intended. Okay, the infotainment system. Now I've seen this infotainment system on other Kias, and this one's a little bit different. I'm not sure if it's settings that can be changed or if this is actually that's designed in the Seltos, because it doesn't have these purple icons. It has the regular white icons, which is pretty decent. That's probably, yeah, actually it doesn't change the colors, but it does show you what you can put on your home screen, which is pretty cool. We've seen that on the Hyundai before. It's divided in 3, so we can have a navigation, radio, and weather information on the outside. And here the date, of course, and then the time. It is a Bose stereo, so you can see that it's equipped with Bluetooth, HD radio, and the Sirius XM, of course, subscription required. Well, let's go to the menu. Let's go to the home menu, and we'll see what else is here. Now we can have a shortcuts through like entire navigation system if I wanted to put that in here. Kia dealerships route overview. Kia dealerships, let's see if it's going to find the one that we're in. Actually, for some reason, this is a new Kia dealerships, but they probably should let them know we are at Gettle Kia off Bradenton right now. And those guys were nice enough to allow me to film this vehicle, so give them a shout out. Homework favorite 1, 2, 3. This is easy. As a matter of fact, we're talking with my wife of how to edit the home address on our navigation. Took us a while, but we finally did it. Now this would be a lot easier. Home plus, put the address in, check it on the map, select OK, and done. What else do we have here? Setup, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. They're for some reason grayed out. I don't have a phone connected, so I believe that's why. Radio, UVO, that's basically that intelligent Kia setup that I posted in my other video. Sounds of Nature. It has the same. Now we can check out the stereo too. It's actually pretty cool. Lively forest, calm sea waves, rainy day. Don't listen to it on the long drive. You might have to go to the bathroom. Open air cafe, warm fireplace. It's on fire. And a creepy guy sneaking up behind you in the snowy village. But the radio sounds good. How do I turn it off? How about this? So you can control the navigation, phone, radio, media. As far as the setup, let's see what we have here. So user profile, voice recognition, device connections, vehicle. That's what I'm usually interested in. Driving convenience, so driver assistance. Okay. Forward safety, driver attention warning. Leading vehicle departure alert and attentive driving warning. So that's all set up. Warning volume, warning timing, driving convenience, forward safety, active assist. So basically it will provide a warning and vehicle control when the risk of forward is detected, so it will brake by itself. Lane safety, lane keeping assist, blind spot safety, parking safety. So that is rear crest traffic safety alert. That's pretty cool. I mean, you can see it if you have it on most of the new cars. It's very, very useful, especially with the parking spaces being narrow, and if a larger vehicle stands next to you, that rear traffic alert is really useful. I've used it quite a few times. While we're on the top here, let's take a look at the materials used in here. Now this is more of that hard plastic, but not bad. This is kind of wrapped in this artificial vinyl. Now we have this piano black trim. Hazard lights is right here. At the bottom you have your electronic climate control, so you can set up the temperature, and you have different shortcuts through here. You can set it up at auto if you'd like to. And at the very, very bottom of the Seltos you have your 12 volt 180 watts and the USB in the bottom compartment. Now the shifter is right here, and I'm so glad they redesigned that shifter, and hopefully this is going to be the same shifter that the K5 is going to get, because it's so much nicer than the K5 one. It has the differential lock for the all-wheel drive, heated seats. It does have the downhill brake control. You can turn it on or off, and then of course you have the heated seats on the other side. Drive modes, that's where you select the drive modes, and of course you can switch it to a manual driving mode once you remove this and flip it to the sport driving, where you can control switching off gears manually if you'd like to. Let's put it in the parking for a second here and continue through here. Now you have your electronic parking brake and auto hold. What that is, I said that on some of the other ones. Basically, when you're at the stoplight, all you do is you have to, let me see if it's on, you have to be in gear of course, but basically all you do is press the button, it's auto hold. See, I still have the vehicle in gear, and on the screen it displays auto hold, but we're not rolling. Okay, now you're gonna deactivate it as soon as you hit the accelerator, so you want to make sure that you know when you're starting to drive. Okay, let's continue here. What do we have here? A nice little tiny storage compartment, but it's deep enough and it's functional. Of course you have the cup holders, and you have another storage. Maybe you can throw your phone in here if you'd like to. Okay, another feature that you have here is this wireless charging. I'm not sure if you can see, my phone is right there, and once you put this in, here you go, the light will go on and it's gonna start charging. So that's a nice feature of this vehicle. And this is the interior. We're gonna check out really quickly the top console. This one does not have a sunroof, so we're not gonna be able to see the power sunroof, but it does have the LED lights, and then the other button that it is for your lights, whether turn them on when the doors are open or turn them off. One last thing, and then we're gonna take it for a spin, is the key. This is the new Kia key design. You have the buttons on the side, Kia logo on one side, and this is the hold for your remote starter, nicely equipped. Alright guys, so I'm ready to take this for a spin and see how it handles. I'm curious about this engine because like I said, on paper 175 horsepower, it's not a very powerful engine. However, comparing with the competition, it is pretty powerful, and I have a hope that with combination of this torque of 195, it's going to be a cool vehicle to drive. Now, as far as sitting in this vehicle, one thing that I can tell you right away, it's got nice visibility. It does have a lot of light getting in here. I need to readjust this mirror a little bit, and this is perfect right now. So I'm ready to take it for a spin. The first thing that we normally do, and this is going to be no exception, is I'm going to see how quickly and how tightly it turns around. So we're going to check out that turning diameter, we're going to check out the turning radius and see how that does. And again, we'll go back to my archaic way of testing it, which basically check out of how many parking spaces it takes to turn it around. So okay, steering wheel all the way, and we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 parking spaces to turn this vehicle around. Not bad at all. I mean, it's actually a very tight and definitely in range. I mean, the only other way that the manufacturers can come up with a tighter driving, I mean turning radius, is to actually have like those British cabs have, the 4 wheels, that additional wheels that basically stick out from underneath of this vehicle, and then they lift up the car, and then the car turns around its own axle, which would be pretty silly to do, but that's what they have. Well, let's see. First of all, the acceleration. Okay, I'm in the smart sport mode, and I gotta tell you, I mean, it's not as quick as the Sorento. I like that Sorento a lot better, but obviously it's a different category. However, you know, price-wise, it's, yeah, well, the limited to limited, or the SX to the SX, you'd probably have about well, almost $15,000 difference. So yes, there is a big difference in these two vehicles. But it's so the engine, what kind of confused me is the engine sounded a lot bigger than it is. It didn't sound nothing like the 3-cylinder that I drove recently with Ford, which was basically whining. This one doesn't whine. It has more sporty feel to it. Now I'm going to switch it to sport, and then we're going to check it out one more time. Alright, so let's check out the acceleration one more time. And this is kind of a windy road. I like it. We'll see how the cornering is, or how the turns are being handled by this small SUV. Okay, not bad. It's pretty nice and stiff. We're in the sports mode, and okay, I got it up to speed relatively quickly. What I like about it, it's a lot quieter than some of the other cars in this segment, which is big kudos to Kia again for making a great subcompact SUV. And it feels good. It feels responsive. The steering wheel feels good to the touch. I mean, I really have not a bad thing to say about it, other than, you know, the design is the design. I mean, if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't. There's nobody going to be judging you on that. The camera could be 360 if I were to add something to it, and it could be the full screen. Now, I have the lane keeping assist on, and this is pretty, it's very sensitive, if you ask me. But it's not in a bad way. You can turn it off, by the way, too, if you don't like it. So I would definitely like to see a full screen rear view camera, maybe a little bit better quality. Other than that, this engine feels really good on the small SUV. It's got lots of room for a little SUV. Now, it did have a little bit of that lag, not a bad one at all. But I would definitely recommend it to someone who's looking for something small, sporty, fun. I mean, it's not, obviously it's not a sports vehicle, but it's got that sporty feeling. And again, nicely turn around, and we're back on the road. So, right guys, so this is the end of this review of this Kia Seltos. I will give this vehicle a big thumbs up. Another great product by Kia, and no, I'm not getting paid by Kia to say that. These are my honest opinions. Also, if you like watching these type of videos, I post twice a week on Wednesdays and Sundays, and hopefully I added some value or at least some entertainment into your life with it. If you like it, please hit subscribe to my channel and smash that like button, notifications, so you don't miss a video when I post it. And I will see you in my next video. Cheers.